The national championship is coming up this Monday night, January the 20th, 7:30 on ESPN. I mean, all these teams played, all these expectations, and I'm talking about throughout this season, preseason, and it boils down to who? Ohio State and Notre Dame. Now, I know if you pay attention to college football, you already know that, right? I hope you do. But you have Ohio State and Notre Dame playing in the national championship, and unless you pull for these two teams, you absolutely hate this national championship. I'm going to give you my overview of the game, talk a little bit about their season and how it steals things that went on in the regular season, even though they've grown up to this point, how it could show back up in the national championship, maybe not. But I'm also going to give you my prediction. First, welcome to the channel. I am glad you are here. If you're a Clemson fan, this week has been pretty doggone good. Tom Allen coming on board. There's people who's not so happy that Tom Allen left. If you haven't heard about LeVar Arrington from the legendary linebacker out of Penn State, getting pretty upset about it, you need to read that article. That's actually quite interesting. But Clemson had a big pickup this week. It's already setting up very nice for a promising 2025 season. So, hey, there we go. But if you like talking college football, if you like talking Clemson football, if you like what I'm doing, you've been watching me, I hope you'll subscribe. Remember, it is free. So if you want to support the channel for free, hit that subscribe button. Ohio State and Notre Dame had some interesting games this year. They also won the majority of their games this year. But Ohio State comes into this game with 2 losses. Notre Dame comes in with 1 loss. Why do I like to talk about losses? Well, it's always still kind of interesting how both of these teams could get to this point and have the losses that they do. Not did, do. They do. They have these losses. Now, Ohio State's it's much more understandable than Notre Dame. You have Michigan, which I don't care if that is Michigan. That Michigan team was, come on, y'all. But hey, you made it to the national championship game. You have the loss against Oregon. No one is going to fault you for a few point loss. Now, who they can fault is Oregon by losing by 20 points. Yeah, they lost by 20 points to the Ohio State Buckeyes in the playoff. Ohio State got their revenge there. Notre Dame, we know about the second week loss to Northern Illinois. Now, I've heard that Northern Illinois' coach actually called Marcus Freeman and told him how he beat him. I'm not kidding. That you need to go look that up. That if even a bit of that is true, that's kind of cool in a way. Anyway, it's shows a mutual respect there. But anyway, those were the losses, but the wins up to this point, especially if you're looking at Ohio State, I don't want to take away from what Notre Dame has done because their last 2 wins were big. I mean, you have Georgia, to me, would be the biggest. I don't care if they were missing the quarterback. Georgia is a very tough team to play. And they did it. They beat them by 13 points. While Carson Beck was off transferring to Miami to see his girlfriend, Georgia was still playing. Beating Penn State 27-24 in a really, really good game. Penn State could not stop turning the ball over or missing opportunities. But Notre Dame limited that. Notre Dame goes in and takes the ball away, by the way. That last interception was an athletic play. But you have UGA, you have Penn State against Notre Dame. Notre Dame walks out victorious. If you are looking at ESPN's Ohio State, Notre Dame, where you can view the game, if you look at the last 4 ball games that Ohio State has played, and I know it's Michigan, and then it's into the college football playoff. But listen, you have you have Michigan. Of course, that was a loss, but you have Tennessee, you have Oregon, you have Texas. You see those 3 wins in a row. I mean, that's pretty big, y'all. And the one thing that you'll notice in most of these games, the Tennessee game was a 42-17 win. You have Oregon. You trashed them. I mean, absolutely trashed Oregon. Texas actually played Ohio State better than what I thought. Sawyer forcing the fumble and running it back, yes. I mean, that makes it a 14-point game. It is what it is, but I'm just saying Texas actually played Ohio State a little better than what I thought. I felt Ohio State might actually lower the beam on them, like big time. But it leads us to this game. So what does it tell us up to this point, right? I mean, that's really the question that we have up at this point. What did these games, what did these two teams, what they've done recently and throughout this season, what they've learned, some players that they've lost, what is it giving us to work with for this coming Monday night? Now, for me, I'm just telling you, there's so many people out there who thinks this, and there's a part of me that I'm fighting this as well. But I'm fighting believing that Ohio State's going to go in and beat the crap out of Notre Dame. Chip Kelly was talking some trash this week. Chip Kelly advises Notre Dame. This is an article by Irish Illustrated. Chip Kelly advises Notre Dame against man coverage, cites Ohio State wide receiver success and Rose Bowl masterpiece. In this, he says they can double anybody they want, but they can't double everybody. If they do, it's a penalty. They've got too many guys on the field. We saw that before against some teams sometime during the year. I tell you what, it was a unique message with our players. You can't stop us with 11. You had to stop us with 12. You saw the final results of 11 versus 11. So here you are. You have Chip Kelly talking some trash. But here's the thing that makes me step back and go, Chip, I like you trying to get your players fired up, but you did lose 2 games this year. You did lose 2 games, and Texas did play you better than what you thought. I mean, it was not just a walk in the park. The offense didn't score the last touchdown. Texas was about to tie it up. So Notre Dame's not dumb. On the other hand, let's talk about Notre Dame and not spend all my time talking about Ohio State. Notre Dame, they have got better. They've improved. Am I overly impressed by Notre Dame? No, but they keep winning. If there's anything that I'm more impressed with, there's two things. First, I want to start off with Marcus Freeman. I've been questioning Marcus Freeman's hiring at Notre Dame for a while. And I'm going to tell you why. We've seen it at Clemson, and Dabo's had to fire people. Don't be shocked if in the next couple of years you don't see Dabo have to fire a few more people because you're getting more experts in the coaching room, and it's either going to expose some people for what they are, or those people are either going to get better, or maybe they're the recipient of some misfortune. But here's my point. When you have guys who takes jobs too early, it's not good for them in their career. And up to this point, it looked like Marcus Freeman was struggling. I mean, in 2023, that was the turnaround game for Clemson. Clemson, who had just lost 2 games in a row. Clemson did they lose 2 games in a row? No. The simple answer is no, but they did last year. The turnaround game was Notre Dame, a team that was doing pretty good last year. And it just looked like the game was too much. Being a head coach at this point was too much for Marcus Freeman. He was a good defensive coordinator. People liked him. He's smart. But he turned things around, y'all. And I want to tell you that I've gained respect for Marcus Freeman over the past couple of weeks. And just the way he's carried himself, just the way that he has calmed his team down, just in the way that he talks to the reporters when they ask him just anything. The guy is calm, cool, and collective, and it's not like he's trying to pose or anything, like he's trying to be this person that he's not. That's impressive. And he has his team. Listen, he has Notre Dame in the national championship. So while there's this part of me that looks at Ohio State, and we look at the players, we look at Jeremiah Smith, I look at Travion Henderson, I look at Judkins, I think that's his name. I look at all the incredible players that they have across the board. And if I name someone out here, folks, that's injured and for some reason I've overlooked it, just show me some mercy, if you will. But Sawyer, Caleb Downs, all these extremely talented players playing for Ohio State. I mean, they're unbelievable. Tate, Egbuka. You start naming out all of those players and you go, how can Notre Dame beat them? And my response is the same way that Michigan beat them. I mean, that wasn't, you know, I even bring up that Notre Dame loss in week 2. That was week 2, y'all. And I'm saying that to myself. That's way back in September. September's a long time ago. I mean, we're talking, what, 4 months ago? How was Texas staying with Ohio State the other night? How are they sticking around? Even if, let's just say the whole Sawyer thing, that he doesn't sack him, and it just ends there, it would be a 21-14 ball game. It did happen, but here's the moral of the story is Texas played closer with Ohio State than what I thought, because I was looking at those previous 2 games and I'm going, oh man, they are going to steamroll Texas. Notre Dame has a shot here. Right now, they're like an 8.5-point underdog. And the last time Notre Dame was in a national championship game, it was not pretty. 2 things died that night. Their hopes and dreams under Brian Kelly, and Brent Musburger's career as he gave the googly eyes to A.J. McCarron's girlfriend, I believe now wife. I mean, the old man told the truth, didn't he? I know, well, it became unprofessional. What? That he said that if you play football at Alabama or any other major school, you can get a beautiful woman. Shocking. Alert the HR department. Yeah. Let me tell you this, y'all. I'm looking at this game, and again, I'm looking at just the crazy talent that Ohio State has. Let's talk about some keys to the game. Let's talk about some keys to the game on both sides of the football, okay? First, let's talk about the coaches. Marcus Freeman is in, what, year 3? Year 3? And the seat was probably starting to get warm on him. A little warm. Not hot, but warm. It's like, he can win some games here, but he'll blow it over here. It doesn't make sense. And then he has this year. He gets past week 2. And he gets down to now. He's in the national championship. Notre Dame fans, if you talk to them and you ask them to be honest in week 6, do you think y'all are a true national champion a true championship contender? Some would say yes, but most who were logical would go, we got a lot to prove. Well, guess what? They proved it. They got to this point. They got past the hurdles that was in front of them. They're at this point. So for Marcus Freeman, I'm not saying that, and I'm not talking about him personally. I'm saying that I know how he feels here. If you talk to Marcus Freeman, he's like, y'all, all I have to do is win one more game. And I've won the first national championship since 1988. 88! I mean, good Lord. It's ridiculous. You go to Ohio State over here. You have Ryan Day. People's been grumbling about him for years now. You know, he loses to Michigan. And folks, I can tell you right now, I know Michigan is your rival and stuff. This Ohio State team with this talent at home should have pummeled this Michigan team. There's no excuse for that. I mean, really, no excuse. Rivalry or not, this Ohio State team, I mean, what I'm actually doing here is showing more belief in the Ohio State team than some Ohio State apologists. You have more talent than they do. You're at home. You should have beat them like redheaded stepchildren who has just a smart mouth on them, man. But you didn't. So what that tells me, and that was what, 2 months ago, what that tells me, 6 weeks ago, something like that, that tells me that there's a chance for Notre Dame. And going back to Ryan Day, Ryan Day's got them to the national championship, and if he loses this ball game, he's kind of okay. He's okay. And what I mean by kind of okay is next year, they're going to be like, hey, we hope you beat Michigan, but you just got us to the national championship game. Okay, we're all right. Marcus Freeman, on the other hand, man, he is golden. At this moment, he is golden. Unless he loses by 40 points. Unless he gets TCU'd, and I don't see that. Marcus Freeman is golden at Notre Dame. The place he's at right now versus Ryan Day, not even the same hemisphere of pressure and expectation. Let's talk about the players. Now, you have two transfer quarterbacks leading these teams. You have Will Howard, Ohio State, 3,779 yards, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. On the other hand, you have Riley Leonard, 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but where he really will kill you is running the ball. He has, around 900 yards, something like that, rushing? Riley Leonard can come into a ball game, and he did this against Georgia. He passed for like less than 90 yards, and he rushed for a little over 80 and beat Georgia? If I told you prior to that game that he had those numbers and he played against Georgia, and you would have said, oh, they got trashed. Oh, my goodness, no, they won. Actually, by 13 points? So you have two transfer guys leading these teams, and this is their moment. You have Travion Henderson. You have Jeremiah Love, if Jeremiah Love is good to go. And then you have the freak, Jeremiah Smith, out there. I mean, here's the thing about it. Chip Kelly is 100% right that you have to pick who you're going to guard. Because if you say, I'm going to try to take away Jeremiah Smith, who has 1,227 yards, 14 touchdowns, 71 receptions, well, then all of a sudden, you're overlooking the guy who's actually the leading by receptions leader on the team, Emeka Egbuka. 947 yards off 75 receptions, 10 touchdowns. Oh, well, we'll try to work something out. Yeah, then you have Carnell Tate. 50 receptions, 698 yards. You smell what the Rock's cooking? He is right. I mean, It's tough to guard these guys. You have Judkins, you have Henderson running the football, both guys over 960 yards each. Between the two of them, 22 touchdowns. So you take one out, let him get a breather, put the other one in, he's fine. But what is the key to this game? And instead of just going through a bunch of players, let's just get down. Let's get to the point. Whichever quarterback makes the least mistakes wins this football game. That's how I see it. I see the quarterback that makes the least mistakes. Now, here's what's interesting. If, and this is just scenarios here, folks. If Notre Dame can play Howard a bit like Texas did, I think they could control him. I think they could control him enough to where it's a one-score game and they have a shot at winning the thing. I really do. I think that if they come out there and they play him like that, because, look, he passed for 289 yards, but he did throw an interception. I watched the game. It was not a walk in the park for him. The leading rusher for Ohio State had 42 yards. The leading receiver was Carnell Tate with 87 yards. It was a tough ball game. What I'm saying is I believe Notre Dame can actually come in and put pressure on him and say, look, if we let him stand back there and pick one of these brilliant receivers to throw to, he's going to pick us apart. Because the more time they have to get open, the more time they have to use their physical abilities that they have, it's not as much about him as it is about them. If Notre Dame can start putting him on his back and rushing him to where he doesn't have time to get the ball to those receivers, Notre Dame stands a chance. Riley Leonard is 6'4", 220 plus pounds. The guy's a freak athlete. He may not be a Lamar Jackson, to where he's putting up 400 yards passing, 200 yards on the ground. But that guy, he lowers his shoulder and runs over you when he has to. He'll flip over you if he has to. He'll make the quick check down if he has to. Good flipping grief, y'all. He got them to the national championship. And Notre Dame's defense can come in and play this game well. Obviously, Ohio State is the favorite in this game. Obviously. And there is a scenario in my head where I could see Ohio State getting on a rhythm and blowing them out. I can also see Notre Dame coming in and Marcus Freeman going, guys, I need you one more game. And this is the most important game of your life. And a lot of you are transfers in here. You're going to lose your eligibility, or you're going to want to go on to the NFL. I just need you one more time. And they could play closer. Here's my prediction. If you watch my game, Lord, if you watch my channel, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed and just sleep for like a month. Grow a brain. I shouldn't say that about myself. I'm just joking there. If you watch my channel, there's two approaches I have. There's who I'm pulling for, and there's logical. There's the logical approach. There's the who I'm pulling for approach. And sometimes they meet. Sometimes logic and who I'm pulling for just happen to coincide. I'm pulling for Notre Dame in this ball game. No offense to my buddies out there who are Ohio State fans. No offense to you. I got some good Ohio State following. I appreciate you. I'm pulling for Notre Dame. Logic's saying Ohio State has hit a stride that if they had to replay Michigan today, they wouldn't care if it was a rivalry game. They'd beat them by 3 touchdowns like they should have a few weeks ago. I see Ohio State winning this game. I'll gladly eat crow, or in this case, dance an Irish jig. Get into the comments section real quick. Say hello. I got Cool Kid in here. Let me see. Good to see Noah in here. Dale, good to see you. I usually don't like Notre Dame, but I don't like Ohio State. More rooting for the Irish in this one. Thanks for supporting the channel, my friend. I see the symbol beside your name. Thanks for supporting on a monthly basis. That's very kind of you. Noah, same here, Dale. OSU is one of my top 3 least favorite teams. Got to go Notre Dame. Good to see you. Let's see. Get on down here. I like turtles. The Lions game is good. Kevin, thanks for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Let's see. Tyler, Notre Dame by 14. Ryan Day will find a way to blow it. I trust Freeman way more. Tyler, good to see you in here. Let me see. Down here. Bo Collins is in here. Or not Bo Collins, not in here. They're talking about Bo Collins, yeah. Let me see. Ray, L.A., they don't call the Fighting Irish for nothing this year. Hey, Ray, L.A., we will see, my friend. Yep, Notre Dame, Chad Godfrey. Folks, y'all take care of yourself. Tell me who you think is going to win in this game. I do appreciate it. Y'all be good.